Hello and welcome back to Betrayal on the Trail. When we last saw our heroes, they had taken the evening to reflect on all they learned from Davrin Thurowax, and had decided to spend the day visiting the local magical academy, where they met an Eladrin tutor who let Marie know that he may have the resources to help her mother if her affliction was magical in nature. He then offered to show the party around the academy. Upon showing the party to the library, the Eladrin made the realization that the party was travelling with a replica of Davrin Gladeweaver, and that they were the new champions. The party encouraged him not to tell anyone of this news in order to avoid the attention of the public. However, the Eladrin did come to a very serious realization because of this. The replica of Davrin is a spell that allows the caster to enter the replica if they were to die, which means the soul of Davrin Gladeweaver is still probably somewhere in Taramia, and she could even still be alive. The party spent the rest of their day in the library, with Arabella researching the Feywild and Shadowfell, while Marie looked into the magic of mind manipulation, before they headed back to Hagar to meet Jan and Elevere, who had agreed to escort them to the tomb of Davrin Thurowax. Upon arriving at the location of the tomb, the party discovered the tomb was missing. Something had managed to find a way to take the tomb out of the ground, and whatever had managed to do this had left footprints leading into the forest. The party decided to follow the tracks, and that is where we shall continue the adventure. We find our adventurers making their way out of the glade that the tomb of Davrin Thurowax was supposed to be in. Led by Jan and Elevere, they begin to make their way out into the Ictium forest, following the tracks that were left behind an unknown amount of time ago. As you're making your way through the forest, Jana is leading the way, staying low, kind of touching at the ground, moving twigs out the way. Is there anything you guys want to do, just while making your way through?
So I think I'm just going to keep my eyes peeled to see if I can see any... I'm going to look out for any animals, just to see if there's anybody knocking about that I might be able to interrogate in the most basic way possible.
Yeah, amazing. You want to make me a perception check just for the travel?
Yes! That's a 15.
Awesome. Cool. So that'll be your just ongoing perception for while you're making your way down this path. Before we continue on, is there anything else the rest of you want to do?
Feels like a trick question.
Most of my questions are tricks.
Yeah, he's the DM.
I'd like to not trip over.
There we go.
No.
No, are we all good just keeping it rolling?
I
I think so.
About 10 minutes or so pass with you following Jana, when, Cabal, you notice out of the corner of your eye a little bit of a tree rustling, and then you see two eyes kind of reflecting in the evening light, kind of an emerald green shining through the brush.
Right. I'm going to, as quietly as I can, which is not particularly quietly, I think. It's like, try to walk up towards it and try and look like friendly eyes. And can I see what kind of beast it is?
Yeah. As you get into range, a head kind of pokes its way out, and you see a long, ginger-furred, kind of wild-looking tabaxi staring back at you, kind of perched up on a branch, holding onto it in a sort of squatting shape. Peers down at you and is like, "The fuck are you doing in Clover's territory?
What?
This is Clover's space, innit? And you're fucking walking on through as if you're Clover, as if you own the place."
Language.
Come on. This is loud enough for us all to hear, right?
Yeah. It's not a subtle conversation.
I think 3 would just be like beaming at seeing another tabaxi.
She's gonna lock eyes with 3. She is gonna drop herself out of a tree, walk up, kind of square up to him, standing proper tall, put her hand on the top of 3's head, which is slightly below her forehead, and put it up to hers, and just nod and walk back.
Was that like a tabaxi threat or something, 3?
I think maybe. No, I'm sure she's friendly.
Okay.
Who are you and who is Clover?
I'm
And what's
Clover,
going
aren't
on?
I?
Did you move a grave?
Move a grave? Do I look like I can move a fucking grave? I'm a tiny little tabaxi lady, aren't I? I ain't got
We're
grave
capable of
moving.
big things sometimes.
That's a fair point, actually. That is.
I think we got off on the wrong foot. We're friendly, really. We're just passing through. We were just looking for a grave, but then it was, not there.
What does this grave look like? Was it?
Dana, tell him what the grave looks like. We haven't seen it. It was gone.
Jana looks over and is like, I didn't see it either.
Like
Yeah.
ever, you've never been.
No, it was my ancestors that found the path in and all that.
We don't know.
The tabaxi is going to make a big point about rubbing her chin and start walking back and forth and just be like, you see, I saw a proper strange thing I did. Clover was making her rounds, you know, hunting the animals, doing what Clover does. She saw a whole pack of people, right? These like grey fellas, all elven-like, with big pointy ears and all that, but they were all pitch grey, one uniform colour. And this lady in the middle, right? She had like proper flowing hair, all with dead flowers in the sort, and she had like these vines trailing behind, and she had like this kind of like small square, of stone and all that. And she was just carrying it, all casual like, and it looked like a little like a toy stone house or some shit.
Like, they shrunk it. They shrunk the tomb.
Clever.
Right.
So where did they go? And when was this?
They went right. It was like a month ago. They like walked right through Clover's place. And they went to this old fishing pond area. It's got these big cherry blossom trees and fish in the water. You can't miss it. And that's where Clover lost them. Clover's proper good at tracking and all that, but there must be some kind of like genius to outsmart Clover.
So this is your land?
This is my territory. It is. I've marked every single tree in this area.
But you didn't know about the grave?
Well, that they came from
That's
like
kind
proper
of
far
shoving
away.
away from like a tree.
Clover don't fuck with no graves though. Dead people are in there.
Usually.
He's an astute one, this one, ain't he?
Yeah.
All three would just smile
Yes.
at that.
Yes, it's a trait I'm finding common amongst tabaxi. So, you have no idea where they might be now? You've not seen the same grey elves since?
No, I think they sensed Clover up in these trees, and they were like, "I'm not fucking with Clover because Clover's proper hard. Because I'm proper hard like so."
Yes, doubtless.
If you were looking for these people, I can take you at least to the fishing spot.
I would be very kind, Clover.
Aye, that'd be good.
Well, it's lucky that you found me then, isn't it? I'm all about that look. That's why they call me Four-Leaf Clover. And she is gonna turn around and she's gonna start making her way through the forest.
I don't
Four
think
for
they
sure.
call it that.
While we're walking, Cabal is going to take the alchemy jug out of his backpack and just surreptitiously fill it with salt water.
Very well.
10 gallons.
So she continues leading you through the forest until eventually it gives way into this large clearing. Like she described, it seems to be where an old fishing hole was. There's a large pond with a bunch of fish currently inside it. There are 2 cherry blossom trees that sort of lean in towards each other over the top of this pond. The branches kind of entangling at the top, making sort of archway. And there are stepping stones making their way through the pond across to the other side. There's an old fishing hut over to one side of the pond with a little stool just kind of like placed by the pond where you assume the fisherman once sat. Clover will turn to you and be like, well, this is it. Clover told you, didn't she? This is the pond, and that's the big cherry blossom place, and this is the last place I saw them.
Thank you, Clover.
Thanks, Clover.
Could I cast Detect Magic on the pond?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
Are you doing it as a spell, or are you doing it like ritual?
I can cast it as a ritual. Okay. Oh, no, yeah, because I did before for the grave as well.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, wait.
So Arabella, after
Yes, I
getting
could.
there, just
I just pull out my smartphone.
and start looking up what Detect Magic does. So
Yeah, that takes me 10 minutes, so give me a hot sec.
as you sit down, Clover is gonna nod to you and be like, alright, well, we'll stay out of Clover's territory and all that, and nice meeting you. She's gonna hold her hand out and try and shake Three's hand.
Yeah, Three's gonna shake her hand. Have you seen any other tabaxi around?
Well, yeah, I've got my clan, don't I?
Well, I meant from other clans, not your one.
Well, no, because other clans don't fuck with Clover's territory, do they?
No.
I mean, I saw you, so that's at least something. If you... He's gonna kind of look at her feet for a moment and be like, if you're ever in Clover's area, though, you could always, come out on, like, a hunting trip, or, you know, some shit like that, if you fuck with that.
Maybe, yeah, I mean, I can hunt. We're kind of busy. We've got a thing, that we're doing, but maybe when we're not...
Proper official, like, yeah, alright, see you later. And she's gonna turn on her heel and sprint off into the forest.
She left before I could make her drink this salt water. Right.
Three would just turn around looking rather, I don't know, scared of Cabal.
I'm going to uncork it and pour it out as an action.
10 gallons was that?
Surely it would take longer than action to pour out.
It's at the rate of 2 gallons a minute, so it would take me 5 minutes, so for half of Arabella's ritual. Cabal's learning the limitations of the alchemy jug by accident. just keeps coming.
I don't think she'd be able to drink all of that.
Three, go and look at the fishing.
Could I have a dip, like as like potential, or is there like, or are we just like we're detecting magic for a reason? I'll wait.
You can, I mean,
Suddenly detect a frog.
I hold the jug up higher as it's pouring out. It's like good shower, I suppose, but it is salt water. I don't know if that's bad.
I feel, I don't know. It could be weird. We'll see. Just immediately just like dry out.
Arabella, while you're doing your ritual, can you check if salt water is bad for Grom?
Yeah, let me get my phone out.
Three is just going to remain where he is, but try and see if he can see any fish, as Cabal asked from where he stood.
Yeah. So, Bree, first off, we'll start with you. You do see some fish. I mean, make a little insight check for us.
18.
See quite a few fish. A weird amount of fish on your side of the pond. You see no fish on the other side of the pond. they all seem to be congregating around the same area, swimming together. It's odd. Arabella, as your detect magic comes to an end, you are hit with a very, very bright light coming from the pond. Specifically coming from the two trees making their way over the top of it.
Do the trees meet in the middle?
Yes.
Right. I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that this is some kind of portal. That's what my wizard senses are telling me.
Are fish scared of portals? Because they're only kind of on one side of the lake, the pond, the whole.
Not necessarily, but if they'd gone through the portal, you wouldn't be able to see them.
I'm gonna move along the kind of bank just to see if the fish follow me.
Sure, yeah. You make your way around the bank. They don't really seem to be responding to you all. They seem more interested in themselves.
Okay, yeah, maybe you're right.
I recently read a book about portals to the Feywild, but I mean, I can't imagine this is a portal to the Feywild. I don't know why a bunch of Dark Elves would want to go to the Feywild.
Well,
I don't know.
Do we want to send an exploratory party in?
Do we have an exploratory party that's sacred?
I'd like to.
I'm gonna look. No, not mannequin. She doesn't have a dark vision yet. David, I have a plan.
And I'm gonna crouch down. I'm gonna come across to where Marie and 3 are. Crouch down. I want to look at a fish and I want to cast animal friendship on it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So I'm gonna point out and just put my hand in the water and run it through and point at a little fish that is swimming. Does the fish have an intelligence score of 4 or more? Probably not, because that's what people need. Okay, then it needs to make a wisdom saving throw. DC.
Yeah, you've got the stats to hand for fish, don't you?
I have each of... Matt, which fish, though? Because I think you'll find that koi fish are a little bit wiser than goldfish.
Sorry, hold on. I'll get the... are we in saltwater or freshwater? Because I've got different codices for both.
Well, a mix it with sea.
I was somewhere away. I'm not cross-contaminating. I'm a monster, but I'm not that kind of monster. DC is 13.
Yeah, it definitely fails.
Okay. So yeah, as I point to this fish and it comes up, but towards the surface, Cabal is then just going to be like, "Beast, you are now in my thrall." And then I am gonna cast Beast Sense on it. So I am basically going to warg into the fish.
Amazing.
So, hold on. Actually, sorry. Slightly reorder that. Before I walk into it, I'm going to be like,
all right, little man. I know this is tricky, but I'm sure you're up to it. Swim to that place that you obviously don't want to. Don't worry. I'll be looking through your senses from a safe distance.
So you tap the fish, and suddenly you're propelled into its eyes. You see underwater, surrounded by all the other fish, and you start making your way through them, kind of past the little stone stepping stones. You make your way underneath where the two cherry blossom intertwine, and suddenly there is just a deep kind of grey washes over your sight for a second, and you come into murky water. But you manage to ever so slightly kind of peek your way up to the surface, and you see a land. It looks just like the place you're in. You can see the little fisherman hut, desolate, broken down. You can see the chair kind of rotting away. You see the trees without leaves and tangling black wood. This land is devoid of colour. The sky is devoid of stars, devoid of the moon, devoid of any light. That is just about what you can see.
What do we see happen to Cabal while he's looking through the fish?
Bubble's face burst into water.
Cabal T-poses.
I assume Cabal sits down and his eyes kind of like glaze over slightly and is just staring dead ahead. Not really.
Yeah, I think my lizard pupils disappear. Like the black goes away, and it's just like that amber sort of yellow eyes, or as if he's blind. But my understanding from the thing is that I'm still there and present. I just have to use my action to come back.
Three would just be like waving his hand in front of Cabal's face, like amazed that he can't see it.
I'm going to say, by the wording as well, you are able to still, to my knowledge, move and speak as Cabal. You just can't sense anything in return.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll give like a running comment. Well, so once I'm through there, I'll explain like what I'm seeing, and
It's the same place, but like a dark reflection. Like in the Ms. Plum was right. It's definitely a portal. It's like the book that you shared with me.
Yeah, it is.
This is a hole to the Shadowfell.
Now, Cabal, as you're looking through the fish's eyes, after a few seconds go past, strangely enough, sunlight sweeps its way over the area you're in, and for a second or two you're immersed as if it's dawn, and then it sweeps back. And as the conversation is going, after another 10 or 12 seconds, the same thing happens. And it keeps just happening as the conversation goes on.
Alright. So there is like some sort of pulse of sunlight that I'm seeing at some frequencies.
Is it coming from, like, behind the fish or in front? Do you think it's coming through the portal?
Potentially. It's not outside the realm of possibility that it's not a fixed portal to the Shadowfell, but maybe to the Feywild. It could be Feywild light. It could just be a bad connection. Who knows?
You think the portal might go to both? They are connected. I'll try swimming back and going through.
yeah, okay, and then not entirely sure how to call the charm or whether this is going to work. Cabal just sort of bellows like, "Beast, you have done well! Return!"
It cannot hear you. Or more, you cannot hear yourself through this fish.
Cabal has a brief existential crisis for a moment as his failure to perceive himself across 2 dimensions was laid plain to him. He's like, "Oh, God." Without saying anything then, I am going to break my connection to the fish. I'm going to use my action to end... to sever the connection.
Interesting that the Tabaxi said that the elves were grey, didn't she? I assumed meant that they were dark elves, but it, in fact might not, because to my understanding the Shadowfell sort of excessive exposure to the Shadowfell drains the colour from you. So the possibility that they're not dark elves, they could be high elves or wood elves that have experienced prolonged exposure to the Shadowfell.
Dungeons Master, how much would we know about, like, Dark Elves Drow? Like, are they around? Like, was it weird that the Tabaxi described them as grey elves? Would they have just said Drow? They were Drow? Or Dark Elves?
Drow are not necessarily common around Dramir. They're not illegal or anything. They're just a exotic race. So it would be within the realm of reason that an individual that lives in the forest their whole life might not have met one, might not have been told about one, or anything like that. So it's hard to get a read on that.
We should have asked if she saw them in daylight or not. I didn't even think about that.
I was going to ask Marie, and I wouldn't know.
I'm not entirely sure that Clover would have given us much to work with.
No. That's interesting. Okay. So a group of elves took these gauntlets into the Shadowfell. Which means that at some point we're going to have to go into the Shadowfell.
Why take the whole grave though? Why not just take the gauntlet?
There might be protections on the gauntlets.
Would
Possibly
be.
something that only lets the champions take them. That's the sort of thing I'd put on my relic if I wanted to.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is easier from going through like a bunch of traps and stuff. It's easy to just kind of like pick up the dungeon and then just sort of shake it until the gloves come out.
There's another issue, of course, is that so being in the like I say, that being in the Shadowfell drains literally color, but also like life, personality, magic. If now time doesn't run adjacent in different dimensions, but there's a possibility if those gauntlets have been there for a long time, they might no longer be anything. I don't know how powerfully magic they are. Or if they're magic at all. I'm assuming they're magic in some way, otherwise we'd just be looking for a pair of gloves.
Like, how long does it take for your personality to go?
It's really poorly documented because it's hard to get to the Shadowfell in the first place and then to find people who want to research it. And I think it depends on the individual and the strength of will. I mean, not like instantly. We're not talking hours, but like I say, time doesn't move the same there as it does here. So it could have been over there for 5 minutes or 50 years.
Kabal's gonna smile at Marie and just be like,
I think you have a strong enough will and personality not to worry.
and then shoot a half a glance at 3, and then continue smiling.
Bree would already be looking kind of nervous, and just that slight glance would be enough to push him over into terrified.
Well,
This is a serious problem because I don't feel like we're equipped to go into the Shadowfell. There's nasty things in there.
Other than the whole losing your personality thing?
Yeah, there's like monsters and there are some inhabitants, but obviously, as you can imagine, anything that's lived in the Shadowfell for a long time isn't super friendly. It's a pretty dangerous place to be, aside even from just existing there. Like, to be perfectly honest, I don't think we're currently equipped to do an expedition into the Shadowfell. We could scout it out.
we could have a look at the fishing pond. We might be able to get some clues at least. We don't have to hitch up there forever.
Yeah, if it's a two-way portal.
Yes, good point.
Does anyone have a boomerang or something?
Let me just check my boomerang pocket. No, it's completely empty.
If we tie a bit of twine to one of these fish and then throw the fish through and then pull the fish back out again.
That's a good
if
idea.
That works.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that's a good idea.
We
Yeah.
could use a rock.
Are we going to call the rock back, 3?
Oh no, you could tie the rope to.
I think it's important to if we can get any kind of data on the way it's affecting living things, that's worth doing.
Wait a minute. No.
What?
Well, but mannequin is the very first instance. Is here we can do for the inorganic matter test and
I'm
Yeah.
attached to fake Brits.
I'm
I don't really want to throw her through a portal into the Shadowfell. I quite like her.
I'm pretty attached to me too now.
I
If
like
you
the
come
fish
with us,
idea.
if
Put
we
put some
lost
rope around a
it.
fish. We let's do this old school. Classic old school
Okay.
trick. Tie a fish up.
How many times has Arabella tied a rope to a fish?
I've been in some strange situations in my life, 3.
The old-fashioned fish yo-yo trick.
Yeah, you know the one.
I don't see how I have any twine, but I do have a bit of rope, so I'll just kind of like peel a bit off like a cheese string and just kind of like just make it long enough that like I can kind of like twirl it and sort of just like like tie a fish to it and
Right.
safely just kind of like make the fish.
Make an either animal handling if you're trying to coax one over, or survival check if you're just grabbing a fish out of the water.
Yeah, right. I'll survival. Wait, what was the other one? Sorry,
Or animal handling.
sleight of hand.
But
animal
if you
handling,
want to
okay.
do sleight of hand either, I can I can roll with that.
I like to do slight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Try quick hand the fish out.
Trick that fish.
Yeah. That's a 19.
Amazing. You get a fish straight away just before it even knows that it's out of the water.
So tie a little bit of twine around and just give it a little kiss, and then just kind of like.
Your skin's poison, right?
Yeah, yeah, I just like love it through.
Amazing. So you just send this fish flying through the air, and it disappears where the archway starts, and the rope is just kind of suspended a little bit in the air and lowers itself down into the water. Still making its way through. It's not been like cut in half, right?
Mm-hmm. And then I'll pull it back again, and like I assume it's
Yeah. You pull the rope. The fish comes back through. Still alive. Still.
Does it look older?
No, it doesn't.
Does it look grayer?
It's got like a beard.
No, it looks about the same as it did going in.
Beast, answer me. How do you feel? Alright?
It shakes its head no.
It's not alright, but
So we can stick our heads through this portal, I reckon. Not literally, I mean like we can go through and have a look and come back, probably. We could tie rope around ourselves and then go through.
No, I was alright just poking our heads through, not our whole selves.
It's good to see what we can see.
I'll go.
yeah, I'm down. Let's roll.
Right, but we have to be in and out. We have to go in, see what we can see, and then leave again. Right?
Yeah.
Until we come up with a real plan of action.
I have no intentions of fighting any Shadowfell.
Yeah, if you see any
Yeah,
shadows that are moving, we leave.
I don't think we're intending to like go to Shadow Elviana or anything. But
Okay.
Alright.
Cool. So each of you make your way over the stepping stones that are in this small lake area. And as each of you hit this archway, an overwhelming cold sensation moves through your body, and it feels like air is being pulled out from your lungs. You stumble through, make your way to the other side. Like I've described it, it is the same sort of fishing pond, but all the colour has been absolutely sapped from it. There is a intense feeling of cold in the air. What would you like to do now you're on the other side?
I want to see if I can find the tracks. Again, if the continuation of the tracks is obvious.
Yeah. I would say because you know what they look like. At the end of the stepping stones, where the lake stops, you can see the tracks start back up again. And they head sort of continuing on the same path, kind of going southward. As you all look around this new area, once again, like I described, a kind of wave of sunlight moves over you. It isn't warm, it isn't like the sun is suddenly upon you. But this time you can see where it is coming from. You see in the distance a small town. And in that town is a lighthouse that has a beam slowly moving its way over the surrounding area. A beam so bright that it seems like sunlight is being washed over. The town looks just like Hagar. It is almost a shadowy replica of it, but with this lighthouse in the middle. And in place of where the academy once was is a manor that seems derelict, but it has one tower adjacent to it that is glowing a soft yellow and seems to have something like a force field around it, essentially.
This is incredible.
I like this place's aesthetic a lot.
We've just crossed over dimensions. That's just... Wow.
I think as Arabella says that and it sinks in, Cabal will look over his shoulder into the pond just to see if he can see the fish, knowing that he won't be able to, but looking for the dimensional pioneer.
Yeah. The water, unfortunately, is far too murky and it's too dark out to get a line of sight on the poor fellow.
Oh well, R.I.P. to a real one.
I try
Now-
casting a cantrip just to see if it works.
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
Like, well, let's say light. In fact, I'll try and cast light.
Awesome.
Just touch my wand and get the end of it to glow.
Yeah. So it does glow. You do manage to focus on the arcane energy. The arcane energy flowing through the air it's much less rich than it is in your plane of existence. It strains you a bit more than usual to kind of pull enough. The light that you make is dim. It's like it's being held under a piece of cloth or something like that. It just isn't reaching the full potential that it usually does.
Okay.
I wonder if that's true of all our magics.
And I'd like to cast Druidcraft and make the faint odor of a skunk in a 5-foot cube.
Terribly,
Around my...
the odor of the skunk is just as strong as it is on the other side. This spell seems to live on. And while we're all up to business, what is all of your passive perception for me?
15.
12.
Also 15.
13.
13. Cool. So, you're all enthralled by moving through to this new plane. It's mesmerizing. The point that you don't hear the light footsteps coming up behind you, treading on dead leaves. And you definitely don't see coming, Arabella, the attack that I am about to land on you. Does a 15 hit you?
Yeah, 15 hits.
Amazing. So, out from the shadows behind you, the creature had managed to lurk its way through. A large dog comes out, making itself visible again, shadows kind of drifting out off of it as it comes into this reality, and it bites its way onto Arabella's leg, dealing to you 9 damage.
That's like nearly half my hit points.
Oh no.
Cool. And could you make a strength saving throw for us?
A strength saving throw?
Yeah.
No.
Can you get out of here? That's it.
7.
Cool. So this large shadowy dog bursts its way out of the shadows. Its jowls kind of dripping with this black ichor as it bites its way into Arabella's leg and knocks her off her feet, knocking her prone. Can we all roll initiative for us?
Oh no.
That's all the time we've got for this week's episode. But before you go, I just want to thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave us a like if you like what you just saw, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on any of the adventure.